In this video, I'm going to be discussing with you the difference between expressions, equations, and values. So here we have this equation, 7 plus 3 equals 10. And these three are actually all equations. These three look like equations, but I'll show you why they are not equations. So this equation right here is made up of an expression that has a value, and then the other side has a value. So let's first see why it's an equation. An equation has two sides that have the same value, and the value means what that side is worth. So here on this side, very simply, it tells me the value of this side is 10. Over here, I have an expression, and I have to do a little bit of work to figure out the expression, the value of the expression. So here I'm going to use the operation of addition to figure out the value of this expression. So 7 plus 3 is 10. So I now have the value of this side, and because it's equal to the value of this side, this is an equation. So an equation has two sides of equal value. The values are what they're worth, and sometimes I have to use an operation in the expression. So an expression is kind of how numbers are being related or used to each other. But if I just had this part right here, then it would be just an expression. So let's do a few more examples here. This is an equation, and I can tell you why. So over here, I have the value. I don't really have to do any work over here. But here, I have to do some work with this expression, 5 times 4. So 5 times 4 is 20. And since I have two sides with an equal value, even though one value is just all on its own, and one value is from the expression, it is an equation because they are equal value. Here's one more example here that is an equation. Two sides are going to be equal. So here I have an expression, and I'm going to do a little bit of work. 3 plus 9 is 12. And then 6 times 2 is 12. So since it's an equal value, an equal worth on both sides, it is an equation. So now let me show you why, even though these look like equations, they are not equations. So here I have 5 times 2 equals 11. Well, right here I don't have to do any work. I know the value on this side is 11. When I look here, 5 times 2 is 10. These do not have an equal value. This is a lesser value. This is a greater value. So this is not an equation. Over here I have a value on this side. This is saying 7 is equal to 24 divided by 3. Well, if I keep 7 over here and I do a little bit of work with this expression, 24 divided by 3 is 8. Well, this is a lesser value, a greater value, so this is not an equation. And then over here I have two expressions. So I have to do work on both sides to see if this is an equation. So 9 times 2 is 18. And 6 times 4 is 24. So when I look at the values, this is the lesser value, a greater value. So even though it looks like an equation, it is not an equation. So keep these ideas in mind when you're using these words like equations, values, and expressions. An expression might just look like this. A value might look like this. But for it to be an equation, I have to have that equal sign, and both sides need to have the same value.